Hi everyone, welcome back to High Vibrational Energy. I'm your host Katie O'Connell and today's episode is called 30 of the most important things that I learned in my 20s. So I've just been back to England for the past month to celebrate turning 30 and I had a really amazing time. Went to Madeira with my family, celebrated with my friends in Ibiza, but it definitely got me reflecting on all the things that I've learned in my 20s. My 20s have been an absolute roller coaster. I've learned so many life-changing lessons. What a decade. So I actually made a TikTok about this, 30 things that I learned in my 20s, and it performed really well. And I had a lot of messages from people asking me to go into more detail about it and to make a podcast episode out of it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So let's get into it. Number 1. The quality of your thoughts dictate the quality of your life. So this is the very basics of the law of attraction, which is when positive thoughts attract positive outcomes, the same as negative thoughts can attract negative outcomes. Most of us are running off a negative program, which makes us automatically think about the worst case scenario. Depending on your childhood, most of us have some kind of inner wound, and a lot of the time, that inner wound is based around feelings of unworthiness, fear of judgment, fear of being perceived, fear of abandonment, and our inner critic is running the show. Once you become aware of this voice, you can train the voice to be a positive one, and you can start attracting positive outcomes into your life. Number 2, the way people treat you is a reflection of themselves, not you. People can only meet you at the level that they've met themselves. So if you're someone that has done a lot of work on themselves, yet you're having trouble with someone that has done zero work on themselves, you're fighting a losing battle, I'm afraid. Most people are walking around unhealed and unhinged, and they're not self-aware enough to know that they are projecting their insecurities and their own problems and their trapped emotions onto you. Number 3. Energy flows where attention goes. If you think negatively about a person or a situation, it can actually make the situation worse. Everything in this world is made up of energy, frequency, and vibration. And something that I discovered a few years ago from doing energy work is that if you're having trouble with a certain person and you're thinking about this person in a negative way and you're going over scenarios in your head and you're thinking about this person, about how much you don't like this person or going over things in your head, it will actually make the situation worse. Whatever you focus your energy on, you will see more of. We all have this thing called the reticular activating system, which is basically a filter, and it's to stop us from focusing on every single thing that we look at or think about. But when you really focus on something and put your energy into it, you will see more of that thing. That's why if you decide that you want a Mercedes GLC car, right, you will start seeing that car everywhere. And it's not that that car has just suddenly appeared everywhere. That car has always been there, but you just haven't focused on it before. You haven't noticed it before. Number 4, worrying is just worshipping the problem. So similar to what I just said, if you focus on problems, you will see more problems. If you focus on blessings, you'll see more blessings. Most of the things that we worry about never actually end up happening. It's just scenarios that we make up in our head. Let me give you an example. So my mum recently was going to an event and she was really worried about these 2 certain people going that she doesn't like, right? She was panicking about it a bit. I could tell it was making her feel a bit anxious. She even thought of a speech in her head of what she was going to say if these people was to approach her, right? And we've all been there, we've all done this. Anyway, she gets to the event and one of the people didn't even end up turning up and the other person stayed for 5 minutes and then left. And she ended up having a really good day. She really enjoyed herself. So all that worrying was for nothing. It's easy to let your mind wander off and worry about these certain things, but when you start to really focus on the best case scenario is more likely to happen. Number 5, no job, relationship or friendship is worth sacrificing your happiness for. I used to really sacrifice my happiness for other people. I've stayed in unhappy relationships before because I was worried about making the other person upset. I've stayed in friendships, I've stayed in jobs, but it was me that always ended up feeling anxious or drained or unhappy because I was putting everybody else before myself. You have to put your happiness first, no matter what. If it's not making you happy, it's not worth having. Number 6, communication is key. So many relationships, friendships, family problems could be saved if only people were better at communicating. I used to bottle my feelings up. I used to go silent when I was annoyed. I used to dwell on things and not say how I really feel. And this is definitely the worst thing to do. The solution to a problem always lies in the communication. Now, when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I will say it and I'll talk it out with someone. Whether that means having an awkward conversation or not, I would rather know that I've been honest with how I feel and I've been upfront with you and I've been blunt with you, rather than bottle these feelings up. Because when you bottle feelings up, it only leads to a breakdown or an explosion. Number 7, stress will age you. The best anti-aging secret I could ever tell you is learning how to handle your stress. When your cortisol levels are high, it puts your body in survival mode, and stress can seriously impact your body mentally and physically. High levels of cortisol can break down collagen and elastin, which are essential proteins for making skin elasticity and firmness. And the breakdown can cause wrinkles and bad skin, making a person appear older. Stress can also trigger skin problems like eczema, psoriasis, acne, dermatitis, skin conditions. You've heard of a stress rash, haven't you? Learning how to handle your stress and to stop being so addicted to stress, because we do get addicted to stress. I know I used to be addicted to stress before I realised how much it was impacting my life. I started doing things like becoming more of an organised person. Because I was such a last minute unorganised person, I would cause myself unnecessary stress. I used to wake up right at the last minute to go to work. I'd be rushing around, I'd be forgetting things, and I'd be doing my makeup in the car, and I'd arrive at work late, and just the whole day just snowballs out of control. If you just wake up a little bit earlier and have a slow morning and not rush around, this will literally put years on your life. And it also makes you look better. Stress also lowers your immune system, making you more susceptible for illness. So it's not good. Number 8, speaking negatively about yourself, even as a joke, will not serve your higher self. If you don't listen to anything I say, please listen to this. Your words hold so much power. Speaking negative words over yourself has a huge negative impact on your life. Your cells are always listening. As soon as I started noticing the negative script in my head, I stopped and I turned it into a positive one. And I did that through speaking positive words over myself. And it felt so weird at first. It felt fake. It felt like I was lying to myself. It felt cringy. But the more I kept consistently affirming positive words to myself, the more I started seeing massive shifts in my life. Now, I won't even joke about myself in a negative way, because I hold myself to such a high regard now. I wouldn't want to disrespect myself like that, which is such a massive leap compared to how I used to speak to myself. I used to absolutely terror myself. Like, I was my worst bully. I couldn't even say one good thing about myself. And now I've completely shifted the script in my head. Number 9. Emotions stay trapped in the body, and unless you deal with them, they can manifest into physical problems. Emotions, trauma, stress, they all get trapped in the body, and unless we heal them and release them and let them out, they can turn into physical problems that we carry with us throughout our whole life, and it causes a dis-ease in the body. If you have a physical problem, most of us will go to the doctor and get a diagnosis, which is fine, but sometimes this can just be more like putting a plaster over the problem, and the real root cause of the problem is rooted in an emotional problem, something that you've not let go of, or some kind of trauma, some trapped emotions. When you dive into the deep emotional release, the physical problem can heal too. The body always keeps score. Number 10, prioritizing your health will up-level every other aspect of your life. Health really is your wealth. You could have as much money and whatever it is that you want in your life, but if your health isn't in order, it's pointless. You could have £1 billion, but if you can't wake up tomorrow, what's the point? You only have one body and one mind, And if you nourish it, if you look after it, if you get enough sleep, if you move your body, you exercise, you will get optimal results out of your body. Whereas if you neglect your body, you'll face problems at some point in your life, whether it's now or later, and you're less likely to be able to reach your full potential. And it doesn't always have to be the gym. You can find your thing. It could be Pilates, yoga, walking, stretching, football, sports, anything that's going to help you move your body is good. Number 11, building your confidence is one of the most important things that you will ever do. I feel so strongly about this. I don't know why confidence lessons aren't taught in school. Actually, I do know why, but that's a story for another day. There's people out there that are living your dream that aren't as likable as you. They've got less charisma than you, nowhere near as clever as you, but the only difference is they've put themselves out there. Closed mouths don't get fed. You have to work on becoming a confident person. And by the way, that confidence has always been inside you. It's just waiting to be unleashed. My life has changed massively since I consciously decided that I need to work on my confidence. I used to seriously suffer with my confidence. I had confidence issues. And then it wasn't until I realised that this is really getting in my way. This is stopping me from achieving my goals. My fear of judgment and my fear of rejection is stopping me from achieving my goals. So one day I was like, right, I'm making it my goal to work on my confidence. And I remember one of the first things that I did was a few years ago now when I was living in Ibiza. I did rejection therapy, which is basically where I go around in public and try and get people to say no to me, try and get people to reject me, to help me become immune to people rejecting me. I remember I went into a Chinese and ordered my food and then asked them if I could have it for free. They were like, why? I was like, maybe you're feeling nice today? Obviously it was a no, but just the fact that they said no to me and I embarrassed myself on purpose was growth, because it was like, it's not actually that bad. Like, we had a laugh about it. I went to go and buy some headphones. They were like 250 quid. Got to the till and I was like, can I have a discount? They were like, no, we're not doing discounts. I was like, great, fine. Just stupid things like to try and get people to say no to me, and it actually really helped. Another thing as well, I had such a fear of talking to the camera, and I really made this into a big deal and I put it off for years. I've always had big goals and big dreams, and I knew that I have to be able to talk to the camera in order to achieve my goals. But it was so scary for me. It literally made me want to throw up every time I thought about it. I would post videos to my drafts for years because I was just so scared of judgment and so scared of what people would think. Anyway, I remember the first time I posted a video talking to the camera, and I was so scared when I posted it. I just wanted to delete it. I couldn't even watch it back because I was cringing out so much. But it actually had such a good response. And then after I posted it, I realised, actually, that wasn't as bad as my mind made out. Nothing happened. I'm fine. What was I even worried about? What did I make that into such a big deal about? And then I would force myself to do another one and another one and another one. And the more I did it, the more I realised this isn't that bad. The more I did it, the less scary it was. Exposure therapy is the best therapy if you want to build your confidence. Your mind is always playing tricks on you, and your mind makes out like it's a lot worse than it is. But once you actually just go ahead and do it and bite the bullet, it's really never as bad as you thought. Number 12, trusting your gut will take you to a higher level. Every time I've trusted my gut throughout my life, it's always led me to something that's way more in alignment with me. We all have a gut feeling, and our gut is speaking to us all the time, but most of us choose to ignore it. I could tell you so many times right now where my gut has been screaming at me and I've ignored it because what my gut is telling me to do means making a really hard decision in my life, whether that's meant ending a relationship, whether it's meant leaving a job, whether it's meant distancing myself from someone, whether it's meant having an awkward conversation with someone. But whenever I've just bit the bullet and listened to my gut, wow, it's always led me to something amazing. Your gut is your second mind. In fact, it's stronger than your mind because your gut knows things before your mind does. That's why sometimes you can get a gut feeling about someone and not really know why, and then later on, it's revealed to you. Your gut knew all along. That feeling that you got about that person or that situation ended up being right. And we do know deep down what the right thing to do is, but like I said, it can sometimes mean making a big decision. Something great is usually trying to get through to you, but you're blocking your own blessings by ignoring your gut. 13. Meditation cures pretty much everything. Meditation is honestly one of the most amazing life hacks that I've ever discovered. It's cured me from ADHD, anxiety, low self-worth, not being able to sleep at night, having a very scattered mind. It's cured me from so many things. We have so many distractions in day-to-day life. Social media, friends, family, replying to messages, emails, work, housework. All these life struggles that we go through are clogging up your mind. No wonder we all feel overwhelmed. But when you meditate, it's almost like it just resets everything, and it also shifts you into a higher frequency. It allows you to receive downloads, creative ideas, messages. It's really crazy. I actually cured my 4-year-long skin condition through meditation, which is insane. I used to have really bad skin around my smile lines and around my nose and up my jaw. And I was told that it was perioral dermatitis, right? But there was no cure. So I would have these random flare-ups every now and then. And this one week I was having a really bad flare-up. And I was like, let me just meditate on this. Let me just ask what the root cause of this flare-up is, because I don't believe there's no cure to this. Anyway, I meditated on it. I asked what the root cause of the flare-ups was. Then it just came to me like a spark, like a text message. It just went, boom, you're gluten intolerant. What? I'm gluten intolerant? I've never even thought about being gluten intolerant before, right? Anyway, I researched it. I realised that I had eaten a lot of gluten that week, the week that I was having a flare-up. I cut out gluten. My skin condition was cured. And that's all it took, was cutting out gluten. No doctor has ever told me this before. I had to find it for myself through meditating. And my skin has honestly never looked better. Thanks to meditation. 14. Having the right people around you is so important for your mental health. The people that you spend the bulk of your time with have a huge impact on your life. You have to make sure the people that are around you are kind, like-minded, people that want to see you shine, people that encourage you and lift you up. There's enough abundance in this world for everyone to win. So we should be lifting each other up. We should be encouraging each other to do better. I love to see my friends win. There's nothing better than seeing your friends win. And if you surround yourself with other people that have a similar mindset to you, that will massively help you in life. 15. Being in the right environment is crucial for achieving your goals. I knew from a young age that there wasn't anything for me in my hometown. So I moved out at 17 and I went to go to uni in Leeds because I knew going to a city where I didn't know anyone was good for my growth, and it was. And since then, I've moved around a lot, different cities, different countries, and all the experiences and all the people that I've met and all the knowledge that I've gained has shaped me into the person that I am today. So if you want to grow and you want to expand and you want to become a new person, I would always recommend leaving your hometown because it's difficult to grow in a place where everyone knows an old version of you. 16. Giving up alcohol will super boost your energy and it can help cure anxiety. So 3 years ago, I decided I want to stop drinking alcohol because it is holding me back in life, it's making me feel super anxious, and I just couldn't see any benefits to it. Since I've stopped drinking alcohol, I have seen crazy benefits in my life. My energy levels are now super high. When I used to drink alcohol, it didn't matter how much sleep I would get, I would always feel tired, I'd always feel groggy, I'd always get that afternoon slump, I wouldn't want to get up in the morning. Now, I feel energised all day. But the main top reason why I stopped drinking alcohol was because of how badly it gave me anxiety. So I was an anxious person anyway, but then when I started clocking the anxiety, started noting down when I would feel the most anxious, it was always after drinking alcohol. And not just the next day, but for the whole next week, I'd have this negative voice in my head telling me that all my friends hate me, I've overshared, I shouldn't have said that, everyone's talking about me, and just making me feel like a paranoid, anxious mess. And that's because alcohol is so low vibrational. It's a toxin. So for me, getting rid of anxiety was more important than being pissed on a night out. So I stopped. And let me just tell you now, I no longer suffer with anxiety. What a flex. That is my biggest flex. The fact that I can say I don't suffer with anxiety anymore is insane. Compared to how much I used to suffer with it, I don't even get the pre-night out nerves anymore. It's fantastic. Or waking up with that random feeling of dread for no reason. I've cured myself from anxiety. I've done other things as well along the way, but giving up alcohol was the main deciding factor in my journey. 17. Connecting with your inner child and remembering the stuff that you used to like doing just for fun will heal you. So when you become an adult, unfortunately, most things are about survival and money, and we can get so caught up in this that we actually forget how to enjoy life. Life is supposed to be enjoyed. We only have a short time here, and we're supposed to be having fun and enjoying it along the way. And when you're a kid, kids are so good at this. Kids are so good at enjoying life and finding joy in little things. Kids don't have the system and the indoctrination of what us adults have. But when you start remembering the things that you used to like doing just for fun, you start bringing a bit of joy back in your life. Like I started remembering how much I used to love to paint. I used to love arts and crafts. I used to love to draw. I used to love gymnastics. I used to love dance. I used to love performing arts. All these things that I used to love started incorporating them back into my life. Even like climbing a tree. I climbed a tree last year and I loved it and it just felt like a kid again. This is the stuff that we used to love doing before life got in the way. 18. Regulating your nervous system will release old trapped emotions that you suppressed and open you up to abundance. Most of us do have a dysregulated nervous system, and you'll know this because some of the symptoms can include things like anxiety, anger, no motivation, difficulty finding joy in life, racing thoughts, difficulty sleeping, brain fog, chronic fatigue. All these kind of things can point to a dysregulated nervous system. And the best way that I've found to regulate your nervous system is through doing breath work. Oh my God, I love breath work. I recommend it to everyone, especially if you really suffer with anxiety. Breath work is one of the most amazing ways to force your body into just releasing old trapped emotions. I remember thinking, how can breath work do that? It's almost like it's a secret key that you unlock just through breathing, and it really releases trauma and emotions. The first time I ever did breath work was a few years ago, and I was not expecting what happened. I went in there and my whole body was shaking. I was crying. I had flashbacks of memories that I'd suppressed. I just felt a huge release and my body was kind of reacting, but this is stuff that I'd held onto for years, and the breathwork really helped me release it. I just felt amazing afterwards. I just felt lighter. And then I started noticing big shifts in my life. I started noticing that I wasn't reacting to things the same way that I used to react. I was learning how to process my emotions rather than bottle them up. It's just amazing. And if you've never tried it, book a breathwork class. You can also do other things as well, like somatic shaking. That's a good way to release emotions. Cold plunges are amazing because it forces your body to breathe in a state of panic. Saunas as well, all really good for regulating your nervous system. 19. Regular stretching is so beneficial for everyone, but especially people that suffer with back problems. A lot of trauma and emotions get trapped in your body, especially your hips and your back. I've got scoliosis, which means I've got a curve in my spine. The only thing that gives me a bit of relief is doing yoga or stretching, and it feels so good for my back. It feels like a massage. If you make the effort now to stretch your body and stretch your joints as much as you can, you will be less likely to suffer with joint problems when you're older. 20. Being very selective with who has access to your energy will actually give you more energy. Now, I don't play when it comes to my energy. Your energy is your most expensive, precious, sacred currency, and you shouldn't give it away to just anyone. When you give your energy out to everybody and you say yes to every plan, you are the one that ends up burnt out in the end. And then you end up hitting burnout, and burnout is not a good place to be. So preserving your energy for the people and the things that matter is the best way to avoid hitting burnout. 21. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is something that I had to learn through years and years of law of attraction and manifestation work. You are constantly giving off a vibrational frequency. Whether you're aware of it or not, it's happening. And things will match towards us based on our frequency. So when we want something, we're giving out more feelings of lack because it's signaling that it's not already ours. Whereas when we embody something, it's giving out the frequency that it's already ours, and it's going to magnetize things towards us that match that frequency. You have to work out who it is that you really want to be, and then you have to embody that person. Kind of like fake it till you make it. But when you really embody that person, how do they act? How do they dress? How do they smell? How do they show up? What time do they get up in the morning? The world will start to treat you like that person, and you will start to attract things that that person expects. 22. Failure is essential, and it's actually the pathway to success. So many of us are afraid to fail in case we humiliate ourselves publicly, or because we don't know what we're doing, or in case people judge us. But not trying is already failing. And don't get me wrong, we all get this. I've had this now with this podcast. Every time I spend days editing and then I go to post it, I get this overwhelming fear that it's not good enough and that I shouldn't post it. But that fear always seems to creep in when you do something new. When you do something that you're not used to, that fearful voice starts to get loud. But you've just got to feel that emotion and do it anyway. I really have had to get through my fear of starting this podcast because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just learning as I go. No one that is in a position where you would like to be would ever laugh at you for trying. It's only the people that are doing nothing that would ever judge you for doing something that you want to do. No successful person has ever got to where they are without failing so many times first. Jim Carrey was booed off stage at his first ever comic stand-up. Colonel Sanders, who made KFC, was turned down 1,009 times before someone accepted his restaurant agreement, right? His 1,010th attempt was what it took. So if you don't even want to try, I wish I could think of more from the top of my head. I'm pretty sure Harrison Ford was a carpenter until he was 30 years old. Anyway, the point is, not trying is already failing. And by the way, don't let the fear of not knowing what you're doing hold you back, because let me just tell you this. No one knows what they're doing. We're all just here on this planet. No one even knows how we got here. There's no manual to life. No one actually knows what they're doing. We're all just winging it. We're all just learning on the job. So don't let the fear of not knowing what you're doing hold you back, because no one knows what they're doing. What are we supposed to be doing? We're all just here. 23. Focusing on gratitude rather than problems will reprogram your mind into the frequency of abundance that is already around you. We're all programmed to complain and to moan and to compare ourselves and to constantly strive for more and never feel like we have enough. Social media is constantly showing us how good other people's lives are, but comparison really is the thief of joy. If you have a bed to sleep in, you are blessed. If you have hot, running, clean water, you are blessed. If you have money to buy food, you are blessed. Way more than so many people in this world. All these things are luxuries, but we take them for granted. When you focus on all the abundance that's already around you, you are tuning your brain to the frequency of abundance. You're training your mind to see how much you already have, which will magnetize more abundance towards you, and it'll just start your day off on a positive note, because you cannot be grateful and anxious at the same time. 24. Taking risks usually pay off, And if they don't, they make for a good story anyway. I have taken so many risks in my life, risks that family and friends didn't approve of, risks that have lost me money, lost me friends, meant me having awkward conversations. But every risk that I have taken has led me up to this point now. I'm only 30, but I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives and I have so many stories to tell. I've definitely made mistakes, but isn't that what life's about? It's about making mistakes, taking risks, having stories to tell, learning from your mistakes. I know that I'm going to take so many more risks in my life and I'm looking forward to it. So take the damn risk. What's the worst that can happen? 25. Being conscious of what you consume will help you awaken. So having an awakening is life-changing, and anyone that's been through it will be able to relate. But once you see life for what it really is, you cannot unsee it. So I had an awakening in COVID, and my body just completely started to reject fast food and processed food. And I kept trying to eat it, but my body kept saying no. My body knew that it wasn't real food, it was just poison. Same with alcohol, completely rejected alcohol. And same with low vibrational music, things like the news, which is just completely negative. All these low vibrational things that are designed to keep us in a low vibrational state, my body rejected. And life is so much better without these things. But when you're in them, you can't see how harmful they are. 26. Trust in your own body and your own immune system trumps anything a doctor could tell you. I have been to the doctors throughout my lifetime for multiple things, and let me tell you now, a doctor has never got it right. I've had to cure myself multiple times by listening to my body, cutting out certain things, trial and error, doing experiments with myself to find out what the root cause of the problem is. Nobody knows your body like you do, and if we were to just do things to strengthen our bodies and strengthen our immune systems, we wouldn't need to be prescribed these drugs or vaccines or any of the things that the doctors offer you. They're offering you the solution, but why are they not offering you the prevention? So trust your own body and research natural remedies, because you can't beat a natural remedy. 27. Not caring so much what people think will set you free. I spent my whole life caring so much about what people think of me, and it absolutely consumed me. It caused me crippling anxiety because I was letting other people's opinions dictate my life. But when we do this, we're not living a life that's ours. We're living a life that's dictated by other people's opinions. We're letting other people run the show. There's this thing called the spotlight effect, where we think that everyone's eyes are on us constantly, everyone's watching our every move, waiting for us to slip up. But really, that's not true. People are so much more bothered about their own lives and their own problems to have so much interest in you. Also, when you realise that you can't be liked by everyone, no matter who you are, you could be the most amazing person in the world. You could cure world hunger, right? And there'd still be people that don't like you, because that is just the way the world is. Be yourself, and your people will gravitate towards you, and the ones that don't get it won't, and that's okay. 28. Laser-focused self-belief will get you further than qualifications. I really believe that having unwavering self-belief that everything will work out, even if it doesn't feel like it right now, even if you can't see the end goal, even if you keep failing, but just having that little glimmer of hope and holding it like a torch, that's what will lead you to your destiny. A lot of people are held back in life. In fact, most people are held back in life by their lack of self-belief and by that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough. But you have to be your own biggest fan. If you don't believe in yourself, ain't nobody else going to believe in you. You have to be your own biggest fan. Even if no one else is cheering for you, cheer for yourself. Believe in yourself so much that people think you're crazy, because it's that self-belief that is going to get you there. 29. Rest without guilt. This is something that I have always struggled with as a self-development addict, I would say. I always feel like I need to be doing something that benefits me, whether it's physically, mentally, financially. Even when I'm out having fun with my mates, I still get that guilty feeling of I shouldn't be out having fun. I should be doing something productive. And I've had to really work through letting go of this feeling because our bodies need rest. We can't be active 100% of the time, all the time. And actually, when you finally let go of that guilt and you allow yourself to relax, you give your body a chance to regulate itself. Our natural state is relaxation. We're human beings, not human doings. 30. Holding a grudge will only ever hurt you in the end. Now, one of my worst traits used to be that I was extremely stubborn. I'm glad I don't have that anymore. Got that off my dad, unfortunately. But something that I noticed was that holding a grudge against someone actually takes up a lot of precious energy. And you know what? It was actually my boyfriend that really helped me get rid of my stubbornness because he is so good at letting things go and moving on. And that was something that I really admired about him. And I would notice back when I used to be stubborn, when I would hold on to something, the only person that it was hurting was me. But once you learn how to just let go and let be, you just feel so much more free. But when you're holding on to something and you're holding that negativity and that hate, it's only affecting you. And when you really learn to just let go of it, it's so unbelievably freeing, like I couldn't even tell you. Holding a grudge doesn't make you strong, it just makes you bitter. And forgiveness doesn't make you weak. Forgiveness is what sets you free. And that is a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this episode, if you took any value from it, please like, subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment, post it on your story. It means the absolute world to me. And maybe send it to someone that could take some value from this. I've really enjoyed making this episode. And I will see you next week. But until then, stay high vibe.